right, guys, welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have the one, the only Dead Press Picks. He just got back from the gym. He's feeling swole. And
Yeah, I'm getting big.
There you go. We are doing NBA right now. Let's give some props to our sponsor. Our shout out real quick. Seven Stack Sports is the best book on Twitter. It's not even close. Reduced juice lines, same day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency. Over 2,500 customers, 4 years in service, the best. So definitely check them out. And if you sign up with them and you show myself and Dead, we'll give you tonight's VIP plays for free. So definitely it's a win-win on both sides there. Let's just go ahead and jump into some of last night's games, Dead. Is a big NBA night last night, the day after the March Madness. Any thoughts or any games you want to get into from last night?
Yeah, had a pretty good night NBA wise. Got a nice little sweep. Had the Mavs there on the money line, and then had the Bulls -3. So got both of those home. Pretty simple night there for me on the court. So both of those games good. Mavericks came down to the wire. They looked like they might go down there at the end. I think they were down by 3 with like 3.5, but Lucas stepped it up. Bullock hit a big 3, and Finney Smith hit a big 3. So good to see those guys, stepping up and contributing. The Bulls, I think we were both in alignment with that one, so that was a big hit for us. But kind of what we talked about, the Raptors on the back-to-back. Raptors had the lead at half, but the legs caught up to them as they often do in this league on back-to-back. So nice win for the Bulls last night. They got some guys back, Patrick Williams back in the lineup, who looked pretty good, in his limited minutes. But I thought it was a strong win for Chicago and a much-needed win for Chicago.
Yeah, it was really impressive win for Chicago because you were right. It was close for much of the first half. I think Toronto won the first half by a point, and Chicago midway through the third quarter just took over there. They're about to get blown out tonight, though. We'll get to that later. Another game I was on last night was the Lakers. Everybody clowned on me because I was on LA, but LeBron went into Cleveland, had a 30-point triple-double, and they won by, I think, 11 points. So that was high-scoring, fun game there. LeBron had a really cool dunk. And you're right, you and I on the show yesterday, we both aligned on the Mavericks, and they got it done. I don't think they covered, right? It was like minus.
They covered it closed at 1, but it opened at 2.5. So they didn't cover the original number. They covered it really depends what. I think it moved down to 2, like pretty early today.
That's smart of you to do money line there because they definitely hit money line. So nice hit there. One final game I wanted to get into from last night was the Heat 76ers, man. Everybody jumped off the Philly bandwagon after Joel Embiid and James Harden were ruled out. But you and I, we know how it is in the NBA. Yeah, they ended up kind of beating them comfortably at the end because Tyrese Maxey took over 113-106. That's a huge win for your Sixers, bro.
Big time win. I mean, I gave it out on another show in the morning. I had a saying that I tweeted like, listen, if you can take a cash out, take it, or just pray a lot. I had no faith in my Sixers being serious. Once I knew Embiid and Harden were out. Without Embiid, it's the NBA. Like, you still win without your best players, we always talk about. But without your 2 best players. But then I kind of got like a weird feeling as the game was going on because the Heat just couldn't pull away. The Sixers were kind of staying within 3 to 4 points. I mean, another huge game. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey last night literally took over the arena, had chance of his name throughout the night. I mean, it's just so good to see him balling out. Obviously was a steal in the draft. Now looking back on it, getting him, where the Sixers did. But, big time contributions. Bad loss for Miami though, right? Like that's, I think, the more notable thing. They had all their guys last night and they just couldn't get it done against Philly. But big win for the Sixers also moves them up to the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference and now 2.5 behind Miami for that 1 spot. But it's very congested there. The top 4 all tied. Philly just owns the tiebreakers at the moment. But Celtics and Bucks putting some pressure on Miami as well for that 1 seed.
Agreed. All right, let's get into tonight's slate. Before Dead gets into that, quick shout out to our sponsor, 7 Stack Sports, right there on the screen. Give them a follow. Best book on Twitter. Over close to 10,000 followers now. Over 2,500 customers. Reduced juice lines and same-day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency. So give them a follow. Sign up with them today, and we'll give you our VIP plays for free. All right, Dad, let's get it.
Alrighty, let's do it. We only have 4 games, so this might be short and sweet, but sometimes that's that's better, right?
I
These
prefer it. Yeah, I prefer
short
it.
slates, you can kind of get more time to look into each game. So let's kick it off here. We're going to go to Orlando. The Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry tonight will take on the Magic. 7.5-point line. We were kind of talking about this one before we got on air. As far as a read, I would say it's an Orlando play, but at the same time, I am not betting my hard-earned money on the Magic. Only in certain situations, but not often will I bet on the Magic. I think that this is a kind of game where it's a tough read, for me overall. I'm trying to kind of look more into the prop market here, team total market. But as far as the side, I'm kind of at a loss because, again, like the line to me says the Magic, but do we want to bet on the Orlando Magic? I don't think that's always a good idea. I think an interesting look here is the team total of the Warriors at 111.5 going under. Obviously, this team without Steph loses a lot of offense there, but also the pace that they play with will dramatically decrease. Orlando's not going to play with a ton of pace. The Warriors really good defensive team, so they're going to really force the Magic to use a lot of the shot clock. So I just think by kind of possessions, the amount of possessions that they'll get, I think it could be a good spot to take a team total under here on the Warriors. So that would be my only read out of this game, under 111.5. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Dad, I agree with you. I think that's an awesome look. Not only the Warriors team total under, but I think the Magic team total under is also a great look because the game total looks like it's going under. As far as the sides are concerned, I agree with Dad. It is a Magic read, but the spot is definitely not Orlando. Golden State is coming off 2 losses, 2 really embarrassing losses against Boston and San Antonio. Now they're traveling to Orlando to play a really bad team, right? This could be a potential get-right spot, even without Steph Curry. They've only made 11 threes and 11 threes in their last 2 games, so you would expect the Warriors to kind of regress back to the mean there. So the Warriors actually is their spot, right, coming off 2 losses, while the Magic won. The Magic beat OKC 90-85. Terrible game there. Shot under 40% and still somehow won. So that, to me, is kind of a lucky win. Even though it's a Magic read, I don't think it's a Magic spot. So it's definitely a layoff for me. But I agree with Dad. I like the under spots, whether it's a team total or the full game under.
Alrighty, let's cash those in to the next game. We have the Hawks and Knicks. Have people in the comments here asking about the Knicks with no Randall tonight, or the Hawks an easy bet. I'll be honest, I jumped on the Hawks before the line moved. So I got it at -120 on the money line. So I got a little bit of a better line than it's currently at. And then Julius Randle was ruled out. But you and I were talking about this too. When the starter players are out, sometimes that's bad. At this point, and this sounds weird to say, but in my opinion, there's no more value on the Hawks because you missed the best line. Now the 3 or 160, whatever you want to do if you're someone who likes to go money line, but it's not the best line. So the value might have swung back to New York tonight, but I gave up betting on the Knicks for Lent. So as far as I can't. And I've stuck to it. I've stayed through the whole time. I have not bet on the Knicks since Lent, and I will not tonight. I'm going to go the Hawks. What do you think?
I mean, you not betting on the Knicks during Lent probably made you a lot of money. So that's a good move there.
It was good.
I'm
good thing
opposite. Yeah, I'm opposite with you tonight. It's not going to be an official play, but I do lean the Knicks tonight. I think they're better without Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a quality player, obviously most improved last year, all-star last year, but that was last year. The playoffs kind of exposed him. And then he's been dealing with like a lot of weird stuff, both on the court and off the court throughout the year this season. And I think that's kind of affected the team, right? So now without him in the lineup, I think you're going to see a freer RJ Barrett. You're going to see a freer, Toppin quickly. Like all these guys are going to step up. Fournier is going to be able to shoot 8 to 10 threes, which is always a good thing. So I think the value here is with the Knicks. I know the narrative is Trey going back to Madison Square Garden, where he kind of made a name for himself last year. But
playing in New York.
Yeah, I just want a good game. I think this is national TV game, so hopefully it's a good game today.
It'll be
good for me in terms of betting.
Yeah, I think that this should be a solid game tonight. I mean, we got to watch the Clippers late, so hopefully the first game is better.
I'm not watching Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to tonight. There's nothing else on. All right, let's move it along. 2 games to go. Obviously, short slate. The Bulls and the Bucks. The Bulls were good to us last night, man. We have to be respectful of the Bulls for that nice little cover last night. So I don't want to go too hard on them here, but I think there is no shot in hell that they win this game tonight. So my thoughts are the Bucks as a parlay piece, which I hate to say. I mean, I feel like such a square loser saying these words, but you can find value parlaying the Bucks tonight. Do they cover the 8? I don't know. Now Zach LaVine is questionable. The way the line is moved, it's trending, in my opinion, like LaVine will not play. So that's just my thoughts here. The last update I got at 12:30 on the East Coast was he's questionable. It's almost 5 o'clock now on the East Coast, so you should know something soon. If LaVine goes and it stays at 8, 8's a lot, but you're on a back-to-back here, and the Bulls' record against good teams, AC, this year,
terrible,
brutal. So we cannot trust the Bulls at all. But I think a parlay piece, like if you have something else you're really confident in, I think the Bucks. But as far as the spread here, I think it's a stay away from me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Bucks are gonna blow them out. With that being said, though, I think the Bulls keep it close in that first quarter. They just played last night, so I think they are, timing wise is at their peak right now. They played really well in that second half against Toronto last night, so I think they're gonna take a little bit of that momentum and keep it close in the first quarter, and then once the Bucks depth gets in. I think the Bucks will start dominating. Remember, the Bucks haven't played in 3 nights, so I think there will be a little bit of rust, especially early on.
Yeah,
kind of like that first quarter look. As far as Chicago, man, hopefully they just do better against these better teams because we have them to make the playoffs. It looked like a lock, right? Like just
we're sweating now,
and now it's like, what if they get in the play-in game and then they lose? So
which
we just don't
possible.
know. They need Lonzo back. Apparently, he's the MVP for them. So hopefully it's a good game tonight. But I agree with you, man. I see a Bucks blowout. If they're close or down at halftime, I'm going to let you guys know right now. I'm going Bucks second half.
Kind of just to piggyback off that too, the Bulls also hit a tougher part of their schedule. So it's going to lighten up. Following this, they have the Pelicans, Cavs, Knicks, Wizards, and Clippers. So those are games that I would say they're going to be favored in all but one. I think the Cavs will be favored over them most likely, but it should be a relatively tight line. But then they have a tough last month of the season. They have the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics, and then the Hornets and Timberwolves have been the best team in the NBA since the All-Star break. So they're going to have a tough path getting in. Other interesting thing is the Bucks right now are a 3 seed. Chicago is 5, but that could flip in a heartbeat, right, because of how tight it is. This could be like how my thoughts are is this is a playoff series, right? And the line when LaVine was supposed to be in was still 7. So, like, there's a big difference here despite their numbers being close. But if this got into a playoff series, I think the Bucks finish them off in 5.
4-1.
Yeah,
4-1.
Right? I mean, the way that line
we got some comments. Dad, we got some comments here. We have a Blizzy bet saying Knicks plus 3.5 is free money. We have S. Worthy saying, think Mitchell Robinson play enough to grab 10 rebounds. I think that's a pretty good look. I think he'll definitely play 30-plus minutes. There's no John Collins, so he really only has Capella to deal with, down low. So I could see him getting 10 boards. Appreciate this guy. He says, you and I both go hard, so thank you so much. Let's see. Best bet. We'll get into that in a little bit. And Jagan Hales says, whoa, Celtics been the best, Prez. So Celtics have been the hottest team. I think what Prez was talking about. Did they jump the Wolves? Yeah, what Prez is talking about, like in the playoff series, like we still like Milwaukee over Boston in a 7-game series. But
right.
As of right now,
scary team at the moment. There's no doubt. As a Sixers fan, I'll tell you that is not someone I want to see early in the playoffs. The final game of the night, Clippers and Nuggets. This is a national televised game, so TNT at 10 o'clock Eastern time. The Clippers come into this one 36-37, so they're looking to get back to the 500 mark. Another kind of thing that we haven't talked about, the Nuggets are currently a half a game ahead of the Wolves because the Wolves lost last night for a play-in spot. So, like, the Nuggets are in that Bulls kind of area at this point where you get into a play-in game, anything can happen. Like, nobody wants to be in a play-in game. Obviously, looks like the furthest they can fall is 7. because the Clippers are 6.5 behind them, to jump them. So that 6 spot's going to be key because the Wolves have been right on the heels of the Nuggets. They were actually ahead of the Nuggets last night, but then when the loss with the Bulls. So this is a big game for the Nuggets. They've lost their last 2. I think we're talking about parlay pieces. If you parlay the Bucks and the Nuggets, I did it this morning and it was like 113 or 114. It wasn't an awful line because I think both are going to win relatively easy. But I don't know if I'm laying 6.5 here on the Nuggets.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot against a tough team that plays really tough, like the scrappy team, right? Reggie Jackson, Norm Powell is out tonight, but Covington is back. Kennard, like those guys really do it. I'd say this though, when it comes to the Nuggets, everybody's expecting the return of Jamal Murray and potentially Michael Porter Jr. That once they get back, everything is going to be fixed. I don't think it's that easy, right? We're seeing that right now with our own eyes with Klay Thompson. He's been back for like 3 months now, guys, and we're still playing as if like he's still getting into the fold. And he is, right? He was out for 2 years, but you can't just bring someone back and reintegrate that guy into the team. Jamal Murray's been out for over a year now, and Michael Porter Jr. has been in and out for at least 2 years of his career. So even if they come back, I don't think the Nuggets are going to be a team to really worry about long term. Maybe going into next season. As far as tonight, though, I agree. I think the Bucks and the Nuggets are pretty safe. I don't do money line parlays, but if I had to choose, I would actually do Bucks and like the Penguins in hockey. I know
there we go.
Our guy Ricky Bobby Betts is
crossing
on
sports.
Here. Yeah, but I love those cross sport parlays. Give me Penguins and the Bucks. As far as tonight, I think it's a Clippers spot, bro. I know that the Nuggets are favored by 6.5, but I just like how the Clippers play really scrappy and hard. So
it's getting crazy here. I'm looking at the schedule, like 10 or 11 games left for most of these teams. So we are getting down to, and this is the best time of year. Like I love the NBA, but NBA regular season is just not like a, it can
now.
Yeah, it can drag. It can drag, but now it's getting a little more fun because we're getting, like these playoff battles, right? We're positioning, and the teams
even like the first round of the playoffs are sometimes pretty boring.
Yeah, but it's better this year. I actually think this season, and I was saying this to my friends yesterday. If you look at like, there's no team that's that elite, in my opinion, this year in the NBA because the Nets should be, right? But Kyrie can't play at home. Simmons might never play again, and if he does, I think they're better without Simmons. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So look at the West. Obviously, the Suns are the best team, but then once you get past the Suns, like
it's it's the Suns and everyone else. Yeah,
and that's my thoughts with that. But so I think we're actually going to get really good series this year. Is my point? Playoff series.
It's kind of like March Madness this year, right? There hasn't been an elite team all season in college basketball. And now you're seeing out of the 16 teams, there's only like 5 ranked in the first 4.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Gonzaga was tested to everything that they could take, right, in the last game. So they had a tough game. They were able to eventually win it, but I mean, they were plus money at half, and nobody thought Memphis had a shot. So yeah, good point there. All right, it's that time for our best bets. AC, I think we had another sweep last night, right? You had the Bulls, I had the Mavs. All right, so let's hype these up a little bit, but we're gonna get into basically how it works, guys. If you have not watched this. AC keeps the record. It's somewhere, but we don't. I don't know it off the top of my head. AC knows. We'll get it out. But bottom line is these usually hit more than they lose, hitting at a very high clip this year. So it's going to be our best bet of the day.
We're at 72%, man. I just did the math. 72%.
72. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, all right, I will let you start this one, AC.
It's a joint best bet. Let's do a joint best bet tonight.
All right,
we only have one really strong play. Unless you want to do your own.
No, we can do a joint one.
So we're going to stick with the Knicks and the Hawks. Both teams do not play any defense. I know there's no Julius Randle, but I think that helps out the Knicks offense. You're going to be playing a lot more free and shooting a lot more threes. So I think we like the over here, guys. The over right now is at 226. I think it's a lock. I think both teams are going to be in the high 110s or even 120s by the end of this game. Again, both teams do not play any defense. That's our best bet. If you disagree, comment now. Show us your ticket, and we'll give you props, right? But We
Yeah.
are hitting over
Everyone's got their own
72% of these
opinion.
best bets.
All right, yeah, I think this is going to be another nice winner for us, AC. So just a reminder, guys, that's Knicks and Hawks over. We are going to be playing that as a joint best bet, a first time ever joint best bet. Even though we'll typically agree, we don't usually switch them up like this. So we're excited to do that. AC, we have a few minutes left, and a lot of people are asking about some futures that they can bet now. So before we close up the show, and I could pull up the odds for us here, but there was one asking about the MVP future. I have to check the line. I'm sticking with my boy Joel Embiid to win, and I have too much money tied up in him winning the award. So
I got it up.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have minus 160 for Embiid. What do you have?
Minus 160 for Embiid.
Okay.
130 plus 135 for Jokic. He's not going to win back-to-back, guys. Like, I'll tell you right now. I know he's having a better year, but Denver is seventh. They're seventh in the West. They're not going to give him back-to-back MVPs. Giannis is the dark horse. He's plus 800, leading the league in scoring with LeBron and Joel Embiid. And if they finish first in the East, that might be his record or his award. Ja Morant plus 2,000, Luka plus 3,000, DeRozan plus 3,000. I think those three guys are out. It's only those three, and I think the value at Giannis plus 800 is great, but it's Jokic's. It's Joel Embiid's award to lose.
It is. And see, the thing is, last night, and as a Philly fan, you hear this all the time. So Embiid didn't play last night here in Harden, and he sits out all the time. That's only his second game since he had COVID, which was a few months ago that he's missed. He's not missing games. He's playing back-to-backs. He's not sitting out. He's not doing the load management bullshit. So he's staying in the lineup, which is key. Jokic already does that. Big respect to Jokic, obviously. He never takes nights off. I think he's a phenomenal player. And I think this is going to be a fun years to come, right? I think it's awesome because the center position, everyone.
It's the return of the big man.
Yeah, everyone wrote it off. Now the two favorites, and I know Giannis isn't listed as a center, but he's a big man. So I think he's still he's kind of a center. He's not a guard. So we have three non-guards this year. But I agree. I think it's a three-guy race with Giannis as the clear dark horse. I hope Embiid gets it. I think he deserves it. But there's only 10 games left. So what could really change at this point? What would it take for Jokic?
If Milwaukee goes 10-0 or 9-1 to end the season, they finish first in the East, and Giannis averages over 30.
He's gonna have to go crazy.
Steal it from. Yeah, he has to go. He has to go crazy. But they
How
have to
many
go.
Does Giannis have two?
He has two.
Oof. You think they give him a third? The NBA is weird. LeBron should win it should have in his prime. And I don't even know how many
LeBron should have 10. Jordan should have 10. Shaq should have at least
they like to switch it up. It's just their thing. All right. Well, and then the other question that we'll I
have a lock though. I have a lock for the awards.
Okay, we need your award lock, but one
Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year, minus 20,000. Lock it in right now.
I was waiting because I was looking at the awards, and I'm like, most of these are just outrageously juiced. Someone did ask AC before we close out a conference winner, okay, in the West. Who has the value? Because the Suns are only plus 130. It's not worth that. Do you think? I don't think. I say the value, I'm going Utah at 700. I think they could. They have a chance. They always choke.
Give me Memphis, man. Give me Memphis. I think they are super young. Yeah, super young. So they are not going to be scared at the moment. And I think it's like the Ja Morant story right now. So I could see him making the finals, kind of like Joe Burrow, right? Like lightning in a bottle, get to the Super Bowl or get to the finals and then lose. But I think out of the teams outside of the Suns, I think the Grizzlies are really good because they play great defense and then they have amazing shooting. So not many people watch them just because they're in Memphis, but they're a solid team.
Good team. All right, I'm with you there. Okay, so yeah, those are just some futures, guys. We extended a few minutes after to take your questions. We appreciate all the comments. We wish we could answer every question, but always feel free to DM us. We'll get back to you guys.
We'll be back Thursday. The return of March Madness is also Thursday, so we'll give out some picks in college basketball as well. Good luck, guys.
All right, we'll see you guys Thursday.